Trick or treat, trick or treat. Give me something good to eat. It's the Swolecast, week 8 here on RotoGrinders.com. I'm Socrdave, David Kitchen, joined by, look at these guys. Look at Davis, dressed as a fake sharp. Davis, how you doing?
The fake sharp is the only thing I ever go for as Halloween, bud. I wear that costume every day of my life.
Is that a Mariners? Is that a Mariners jersey you've got on?
This is a Mike Morse, authentic, hand stitched Seattle Mariners jersey. One of my first binks back in the day on Draft Street, Mike Morse had like 3 home runs, and so I bought this jersey after he won. They can't take it away from me, David.
Davis, remember when we were in Oakland and you were like, "Hey, can I get some money? I need to purchase this jersey."
My credit card got declined because my bank shut me down because I didn't call them before I traveled. I didn't even have a credit card then. It was a debit card.
Was this the trade show where you were wearing a tie-dye shirt and like cargo shorts?
No, and marijuana socks and a bucket hat. And then
there's a very legendary picture of me and Dan Bach at that conference if anyone wants to dig it up.
Man, I don't know. At that moment, I was like, what have I just brought to the table? But look, here we are, years and years later.
17 years later.
Peter Overzet and Dan Gasper are also on the show. We've got a hard out because I'm not going to say who, but someone has a meeting at 3:30. So we're gonna condense the show as much as we can. We've got people that are ready, that are chomping at the bit. We've got the chat that's already popping before we even went online. I think we have 9 or 10 likes. So that's pretty cool. If we get to 100 likes before the show ends, that'd be awesome. So guys, how are you feeling? How you feeling today, Peter?
I did forget it was our Halloween show. Last year I was a chalk donkey, I believe. Yep. Halloween really snuck up on me. Maybe should I put on my hand builder Halloween outfit?
There you go.
Maybe I forgot. There we go. Now it's a seasonal show.
He's got his hard hat on.
I did look for I've got a pickle costume around here somewhere, and I looked up pickle puns and everything that I was going to put in the show, and then I couldn't find the costume. So you're just left with sexy soccer dad here. Dan, how you feeling today?
Feeling all right.
Are you?
Not that excited about the slate though, for being honest here. Like we had all the high scoring games last week, and now we're kind of just left with like a high school girls basketball game or something this week.
Wow. As the father of 3 girls.
Well, the problem is that the highest total game of the week is a frickin' Tennessee Titans game. So it's like, what's the point? Like, why even show up? Why even do the show?
I mean, that game's going to be fun. I'll give that one to Kitchen. But that's like the only game that's going to be fun.
Tuttle, great. 22% on Big Dog. Great. Sounds like an awesome freaking week, dude.
Sounds like a way to lose money to me.
Tuttle, you're supposed to be like one of the game theory bros that goes, it doesn't matter what the slate is. It doesn't matter how many games are off. It's a puzzle. Each week's a new puzzle that we get to put together.
Play whoever you want. Just play whoever you want.
Davis Mattek doing a blender impersonation. That's what we needed for this Halloween episode of the Swolecast. Last week was definitely fun. The late night hammer, the Sunday night hammer. Ooh,
that was your slate, bud.
Having Lockett in the lineup. No, that was so nice. Now,
I think it was fun having that game as the late hammer.
Yeah.
How about New Orleans and Chicago this week, baby?
Nick Foles in prime time, baby.
Wait, did they already flex that?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, oh god.
But it's one of the 3 afternoon games.
Yeah.
But I mean, we did talk about that game a lot last week, and then when they moved it to prime time, that was fun. It brought back memories of old.
The DK Metcalf touchdown being called back is the most unjust thing that's happened to me in my 28 years on this earth. I mean, just unbelievable.
Hey, can we just flash forward? I do want to take a little victory lap. I believe we were debating Lockett versus Metcalf last week. I forget who was on what side. It's hard to remember.
Hey, sometimes the fish get there.
Here's the thing. I think Davis left himself at least some outs, at least from what I saw. on this show and in public, but like private chat, he was pounding.
It was way worse. It was way worse in our private chat.
I was like offering Metcalf hard.
I was like offering prop bets to Andrew Wiggins. Like, let's bet it, dude. If that's really your take, let's bet it.
I want to get something off my chest. Probably the most donkey thing I'll do this season. I had a hot take last week, and it was about as wrong as you could get. A.J. Dillon over Jamal Williams.
Pretty bad.
It was tough. That was really tough.
Where was that? A take on the show?
That was a take. The news broke after the show. So the news broke on Friday. Okay. So I thought that he might get some touchdown equity, and boy, he did not get anything.
Wait, who is this take to? Did you just whisper it to someone in passing?
More so that I played him.
Kitchen was doing this in his own personal action, because that's what Kitchen does. Is he'll show up at 1 o'clock after the games have started and been like, man, I hope AJ Dillon gets some work, and you're just like, what, dude? What's going on? We're all in on Jamal Williams here.
Yeah, he'll come up with no read for the room at all. The best would have been AJ Dillon scores a touchdown while we're all tilting Jamal Williams.
Yeah, and Kitchen comes in.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I have a read for the room. Davis does not.
No,
whenever
Ben Pritchett was the worst.
Pritchett is the worst.
If my guy goes off, I just won't post anything in the chat. So
that was we were at our chat with Karain, and Pat and I had dropped Boston Scott after hyping him up and drafting him everywhere. And so Pat and I are feeling, we're missing out on Boston Scott week, and Davis comes in. He's like, Boston Scott week, it's lit. And I was just like, read the room, Davis, read the room.
Well, we had a lot to celebrate with Dick Rod, so it's all right, bud.
Oh man. So we have for a few housekeeping items. First of all, if you feel like you are owed a Swolecast shirt, email swolecast@gmail.com. Do not DM me. Do not DM me. Because if you DM me, it'll just get lost. And I found a bunch of stuff in the message request section of Twitter for me yesterday.
That's a dark place, dude. My message requests are a tough scene. Someday I'll post a screenshot of my message requests.
The second item is I'm disappointed. I am very disappointed. I'm embarrassed that the Swolecast Listener League last week did not fill. It is a rake-free contest, 3-entry max, 10% to first, 20 or 2x to the top 20%.
I thought it was 150 max free roll.
No, that was the RotoGrinders.
That was the RotoGrinders. This is the best tournament, or was the best tournament that there has been. And we didn't fill it.
It's disgusting. Put on your hard hats, Hand Builder Nation, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You guys are supposed to be plus EV grinders out here, scooping up every rake-free tournament. These don't exist. Get your asses together and max enter this thing. Goodness gracious.
Did somebody forget to post the link last week?
No, the link was posted, and we put it in the chat. So this is the Listener League. And if you just go to FanDuel.com/Swolecast.
That is, yes. This is what is the most annoying. This is the most. What's the link? What's the link? What's the link? Everybody's asking, what's the link? It's not
do it, Tuttle. Let it fly.
No.
Let it fly or no?
Don't let it fly or no?
Let it fly. Let it fly. Let it fly. Dude, imagine
don't let it fly. Don't let it fly. No.
Freaking FanDuel.com/Swolecast. That is what it is. That is the link that you need.
700 entries. BJS 509021 gets Kyle Allen in the F1 stack. OCJEB has the hasty lineup. Ferkser also for BJS 509021. And then MJ Fall 83, the Miko lineup. Email swolecast@gmail.com.
Miko, Chiefs scrimmage leader. Pretty good play.
Yeah. So
you feed your family. You feed your family with scrimmage leader points, Davis?
Yes, yeah, I do, buddy. I feed my family with McCole Hardman highlight reels. Did you see that?
Hold
catch?
on,
one-handed.
Davis, we can't spend time on McCole Hardman on this show. We got to speed it up. We had Ricky D, who won the $1 million a few weeks ago. He saw the show. He heard about socialism. He said, "What's your address? I want to send you some things." So he sent us some things. Before I open this, what are your guesses for what he sent us?
I hope it's like a communist, like sickle and hammer, like printout. That would, to me,
he won $1 million. So, like, is this going to be a gag gift?
He didn't spend more than $15.
Yeah, it's nothing expensive. It might be a Mecole Hardman thing, though.
Maybe he played retail for one of those Amazon 4K Fire Sticks.
All right, so I'm going to open it now. First item. He sent 3 packages.
You better be forwarding this on to us, depending on what it is.
All right. Yeah, y'all get it next year.
When Ricky D wins $1 million again.
Athlo shirts. So
because of your regular workout routine.
Yeah, this is okay. This might be workout themed. So Athlo shirts. Large, and large. So one of you guys will be getting 2 of these. All right. Next item.
Or is that saying that those are for Tuttle, Davis, and I, because we need to start working out because Dave already has a regular workout routine? I'm trying to figure out the 3.
I get that was a gift dedicated to Kitchen's regular workout routine.
Yeah.
All right. This is a Adidas compression shirt, collegiate purple.
He really wants you to be fit, bud.
I don't.
He's in the chat. He's trying to get us to stay swole.
Okay.
I get it.
Swole is the
so that's an XL compression.
These are good gifts. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It makes sense.
These are legit gifts.
I hope these are like 2-pound dumbbells.
So the last item from Millionaire winner Ricky D is more of them. And you know what? I'm just now realizing, attention to detail, these are purple and they're teal. Those are the Swolecast colors.
Look at that. Very.
Did we vote on Ricky.
That? Only a dedicated listener of the show
would know that.
Colors like that, yeah.
Yeah. Did we vote on the colors? I kind of hate it.
Okay, well, you don't have a say. You don't have a say in what the color scheme is.
Mr. Tie-dye shirt weed socks doesn't like our color palette.
Okay, dude, so how long will it take for Kitchen to send those to us?
I'll never see
it. Yeah, we'll never get it.
I'm sending an email to Swolecast at gmail.com.
He'll take a picture of his girls wearing it or something.
All right. So let's move on, though, to the upcoming slate of games. Let's talk about the overview. We already talked about the Titans in Cincinnati. Pace up. If you're looking at games,
it's not a pace up game, though. The Titans have only played fast when trailing, and
not true.
Not true. You want to argue with Pat Thorman on this one, Davis?
Is it true that they've played fast? I'm willing to eat it.
They're only like the 4th fastest situation neutral team in the league. So
nice,
Davis. I thought that you were the all 22 tape grinder. This is a really tough scene from you.
This is a tough scene. I need to go look.
They've been going hurry up like this whole season. The exception to that is when the Steelers took up the whole first quarter last week. That was rough.
Yeah. Okay. But when they've played with a lead, though, they're 20th in the NFL in pace.
Okay.
You mean teams with the lead typically don't play as fast?
Well, there's a pretty big difference between. There's a pretty big difference, but yeah, they just let the big dog eat. Yeah, my concern with this game would be, if Cincinnati gets up, it'll be incredible. It'll be like what we saw in the Steelers game. It'll be like what we saw in the Texans game. My concern would be fumble 6 early, big dog, 8-yard touchdown run. It's 14-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Hey, God, can I translate for Davis? Davis's concern for this game is he hates the Titans and doesn't want to see Dave happy.
His concern is a scoop and score. Like that was his concern, is that there will be a scoop and score in this game.
That's normally my fear heading into games.
I've been so victimized by the Tennessee Titans. I can't. It's so terrible.
That's a story. Let me tell you about the Titans, though. Their defense is not
bad.
Good.
Yeah,
it's very bad.
So, you got Mr. Joe Burrow that can sling it, and you got a bunch of options there. So, all right, what are some other games that you guys are looking at, Peter?
I mean, I'm always interested in Seattle. I like this Seattle-San Francisco game. I like both of the quarterbacks in that game. That one I think is interesting. Another one that seems interesting is Green Bay, Minnesota. It has a high over-under. Thorman actually thought that one could be a little slower since both teams have been playing up more so because they're opponents. But I'm still interested in that one as well. I guess it's outdoors in Green Bay, so that takes a little bit of the shine off. I think those are the main ones I'm eyeing right now.
What about Seattle, San Francisco?
That's what I just said. That was my first one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed the middle one. But yeah, as far as the late hammer game, you got 3 afternoon games. You got the Chargers and the Broncos. You got the Saints and the Bears. But then you got the 49ers and Seattle, with some injury implications in that game as well. Davis, thoughts on the skill players for the 49ers?
Well, Ayuk looks like he's just going to be the stone chalk, and then Kittle as well. I think that Jerick McKinnon might be like a super interesting tournament play because Hasty will probably get like a lot of good pub this week. You know, Shanahan will say a bunch of nice things about him, but it seems like from what I can tell is the plan was to really only play McKinnon on third downs last week. And they weren't going to use him on the goal line, and it was mostly going to be Hasty and Jeff Wilson Jr. And then Jeff Wilson Jr. got injured, so they had to play him a little bit more. I expect this week that McKinnon will be more in like the 10 carry, 5 target range. And it also wouldn't surprise me to see him be the primary red zone back as well.
Good take.
Tuttle,
I think people will chase Jermichael because of the last game.
Big time. Yeah.
And I mean, we also already have last week where the team hyped up Jermichael and they came out and gave Jeff Wilson all of the carries. So I don't know what that says about Jermichael, but I like the McKinnon call as well.
All right, let's talk about
real quick before we get in. I want the game stat concern there is I just really hate the idea.
Scoop and score.
Yeah, the scoop and score is, you always have to think about that, but also like the idea of rostering a 12% owned Jimmy Garoppolo like in the SPY like makes me sick to my stomach. Like I would rather not. So one thing
they house one because he's not throwing it deep.
Yeah, it's like you got to hope that the 4-yard screen to Ayuk turns into a 74-yard touchdown. But what the point was, I'm kind of into the non-QB correlations this week. So like, you know, you do Rodgers, Adams as your primary stack. You put Justin Jefferson in there, and then you have, you know, Ayuk and Lockett in there, like the little one-off correlations, not using Garoppolo because he sucks, and then not using Russ because he's so expensive.
It's very similar to the thesis behind the Albert O and Hardman correlation last week.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and that correlation, we had the Kansas City Chiefs scrimmage leader, and then we had Albert O who led the Broncos in targets. So pretty good correlative example, I think.
Correlative example. Correlative is a great word. Tuttle, where are we finding value this week?
I don't really know, to be honest. I mean, there's some really cheap wide receivers on DraftKings. I don't feel all that great about them. Like I know people have thrown out builds already this week with Josh Reynolds, Denzel Mims as some receiving options. Jimmy G, we already mentioned, would be the way to save at the quarterback position.
I think he could hate to see it.
Yeah.
Did you say DeMarcus Robinson? Did you say DeMarcus Robinson?
No.
Oh
no. No DeMarcus Robinson.
He's 3.1K on DK this week.
Too high.
But Davis posted the build with Denzel Mims earlier.
Is this in the secret group chat that I'm not a part of?
Yeah, in the secret group chat.
Davis is posting early week 8 lineups in the secret group chat.
This is it, guys.
And he didn't get berated for it. So I mean, that has to that's a step up for most weeks. But I think most people will be paying up at running back and saving.
Mims had a 32% target share in his first game, bro.
Did he get a catch in the second half? I don't think he did.
Un target in the second half. It was incomplete. My take is that he doesn't know the playbook yet, and he only knew the 20 plays that they had done for the scripted plays in practice. And so after that, he was completely lost. But I watched that game this morning on all 22 as well. And in the first quarter, they had 4 very specific plays for him where he was the motion man, there was play action, and then he was the target after that. So I'm actually pretty bullish on Mims. I think they plan on getting him the ball a lot.
I want to read some metrics for people who aren't deep in the dynasty streets to know what Denzel Mims is. 6'3", 4.38 speed, and 6.663 crone.
You know what that sounds like?
Chase Claypool?
No, a grown-ass man.
It is. He is a grown-ass man. So, like, this isn't Rashad Higgins is basically what we're saying. Like, this is a stud.
All right. Well, it's time to talk quarterbacks.
20 minutes
one,
in.
David. Nice one.
Thank you, Tuttle. Tuttle got it. So we're talking as far as Miami, Tua. He's 5.6K. Would you rather have Tua, Cam, or Jimmy G this week, Davis?
Derek Carr, I think, probably.
Okay. Well, he's not one of the options.
I thought you liked Jimmy G.
I like Jimmy G very much in a vacuum, but right now in our early our early ownership projections, we have him as the 3rd most rostered quarterback. I don't know if that will hold. I could see it going the other way. I could see him literally being one of the highest owned projected quarterbacks. Like I will maybe play Jimmy in cash on DraftKings because I think it's pretty easy for him to grind out like 18 to 24, but I'm really not excited about using him in like single entry or anything on either site.
I'm so torn. I'm so excited to watch Tua play. I was reading Reeves' worksheet this morning. The Rams are currently 6th in the NFL in sacks with 20 and 3rd in the league in passing points allowed per attempt at 0.34. I think it's going to be tough sledding for him in week 1, but I can't wait to watch him play.
But classic NFL betting narrative, West Coast team going east for the early kickoff. Like this is the stuff that the fantasy or the Action Network betting tools were built for.
Well, this also might be, depending on how he does, this also might be the cheapest that he gets. I mean, especially
I said that last year about Kyler, and then I was able to play him at the same price the entire year.
All year. We ended up being right about Kyler in the end, though, Pete.
You just martingale it, man. You martingale the air raid and it hits.
So this is my concern with Tua, and this is something that Pete and Patrick Crane talk about on their show Ship Chasing last week, and we all had this discussion doing waivers last week, is people think of Tua as a running quarterback because he had some really high leverage runs at Alabama. I believe
there's probably other reasons why, but go ahead.
Yes, but if I remember correctly, he had like some cool rushing touchdown in one of the national championship games. I don't know. I don't really watch that much college football, but he only had 107 rushing attempts in college, under I think like 305 total yards, 9 rushing touchdowns. And I know that they take sack yardage away, so it's not 1-to-1. But like I'm not expecting this to be like rookie year Lamar Jackson with like 10 to 12 rushes a game. My guess is they probably have some zone read stuff where he has the option to keep it, but I don't think we're going to see like a lot of QB power with Tua coming off of this hip injury.
No, yeah, you're not counting on him for rushing yards.
Yeah,
it's a reasonable take. So the bottom line is both he and Jimmy G, though, are very cheap on both sides. I mean, Jimmy G on FanDuel is 6.6.
I think that Derek Carr, considering how much less owned he's going to be, I think is better.
Really? Because the one set of ownership projections I looked at had Carr as the highest so far. Tuttle, what is your read on Carr, Burrow, Jimmy G for ownership?
I think it will settle in with those lower price guys. I think they'll both be under 10%. I think people will jam Burrow, and I think he's easily the better play of the three. It kind of just depends on roster construction, which I haven't gotten too into yet. But yeah, I think Burrow will definitely be the highest owned of those three. But I don't think it's going to be anything ridiculous. You'll probably see him like in the 11-12% range.
Well, I'm also sort of thinking about like Ayuk obviously projects to be likely the highest owned of that group, whereas Ruggs, Waller, those guys we're talking about 5 to 7%, and then the bringbacks.
I think Waller's going to be mega chalk.
You think so? You think that? Well, so the reason why I would think that would not be the case is people just want to use Kittle. People would just rather play Kittle, but maybe that's wrong.
I mean, there's just such a huge price disparity. Devin rolling around right now as we jump from position to position.
Let's keep it QB related. Let's talk about some of the elite quarterbacks. If you had to play one out of this elite group, who would it be? Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, or Ryan Tannehill?
I mean,
he doesn't even break.
I'm not even going to acknowledge it. I'm not going to acknowledge it. But what I am going to say is that I think it's Mahomes, and I think it's Mahomes because I think that he can accumulate 5 touchdowns in the first half, all via the pass. Obviously, that's like a super low percentile outcome, but I think that anytime Mahomes is on the field, he has the ability to score more fantasy points than anybody. And if the Jets somehow score in this game, I mean, he could score 40.
All right, and 2BH, I should have added Russell Wilson to that group as well.
Yeah, maybe he should be in there over Tannehill.
How's Mahomes going to score 5 touchdowns when Le'Veon Bell scores 4?
Yeah, not a joke. Le'Veon is. I don't even tout narrative street plays, but Le'Veon is getting 15 plus DraftKings points this week.
No, don't you guys look at defense versus position? This is a Butker week. I mean, Tyler Bass just went ham, and now it's Butker time.
I have had some times this year where I've kind of hoped or remembered and reminisced on kickers on FanDuel. They were kind of fun. Come on.
They were kind of fun, except when you were sweating them.
Yeah, they were kind of fun.
Have defense, why not have kickers? I mean, they're the same, basically.
Don't. We're going like you're regressing. Like if anything, let's add in the Sunday night game. If anything. All right. Let's move on to creating a lineup on DraftKings. And here's the theme. This is a scary, spooky lineup. However you want to justify it, whatever that means for you on DraftKings, it's got to be kind of scary. So
let me go first.
Okay, I Tuttle,
you go first.
What is more scary than domestic violence? Kareem Hunt.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus.
Not the direction I thought that was.
No,
I did. I was gonna say what's scarier than fading Derrick Henry, so we should fade him in this lineup.
I agree.
That would probably be the better one.
When the cards flip over and Derrick Henry is 7,400 or 8,024% owned, you're just like, well, I know what's coming. The Ramrod.
He's gonna bury me this weekend. I know it. Like I don't even need to see what happens. He is going to bury me this weekend.
Okay, so we're Tuttle, are you going to give a Kareem Hunt take?
Yeah, I mean, we finally got a week where
you could have said like being hunted, the haunted house, like something like that.
I mean,
okay, we can factor that in though. We can factor.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good matchup. He finally had a week where he wasn't cramping. Cleveland wasn't in a blowout, saw 90% of the snaps, 99% of RB touches. I mean, he's a smash in this spot.
All right. Davis?
I'll just correlate there. I'll take Ruggs. He's got scary speed.
Yes. No, that is a scary play. Peter?
I'm trying to come up. So what's more important, a good lineup or sticking on theme? This is a question.
Buddy.
It's a cash game lineup regardless. It's a cash game
theme. This is a theme, but I mean, use it accordingly.
I have this image in my head of the Blair Witch Project, the wind whipping through the woods, a little Robert Woods in the fall time, the autumnal change of the leaves.
Got to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this one.
Yeah, I don't think it's a great pick, but
I literally asked what you guys wanted.
Well, it's fine. We're just playing it in cash anyway, so he doesn't need to have that high of a ceiling.
We're not playing.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have 0 Robert Woods this week in any of my lineups, but I'm trying to make a goddamn Halloween lineup for the people.
Thank you, Pete.
All right. What's scarier than rostering a quarterback for Cam Newton? That's what I want to know. Julian Edelman is 4.4K.
Austin will probably play him in the Thunderdome again for the flop leg.
Oh wow, man! I loved the lineup he rolled out too, and then it was like Edelman. What? It was like the one thing is not like the other. It's like listing Tannehill with the elite quarterbacks. You're like, what?
So you picked Edelman, huh?
Yeah, Edelman. Or I was thinking about DK Metcalf, but I thought the DK Metcalf one would be too easy. Like Derrick Henry, DK Metcalf,
DK Metcalf in the cut. That's a scary sight.
All right, Tuttle.
You know when you go kill somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do.
We're all on pins and needles when Tuttle starts one of these now.
So let's say you murder somebody.
Oh,
God. Yeah.
You got to burrow the body somewhere.
Oh, there we go. I like that.
See,
go burrow.
That's nice.
Thank you, guys.
Very nice. And with that, I'm actually going to change Edelman to AJ Green.
I like it.
There's nothing scarier than rostering a guy on the verge of retirement on any given play.
Yeah, plus he's green. He's green like Frankenstein.
He's like old, like the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
Perfect.
then I have one to tie in both of these themes. We have Crypt Keepers. We have a man whose nickname is literally the Ghost. T.Y. Hilton, enter the flex.
No, please, anybody else, dude.
His name is the Ghost, and it is a Halloween lineup. Stay on theme.
All right.
His name is... Wait, it's actually the Ghost?
That's his nickname.
No, it's not.
All right.
Yeah,
then nothing is
Get out of
scarier
here.
than having to say this player's last name, Albert Okwuegbunam.
His nickname, literally,
Okwuegbunam.
Hang on, real quick, Tuttle. ESPN article. T.Y. Hilton living up to Ghost's nickname.
No, I'm going to Pro Football Reference, and if it's not listed as the Ghost, it's not.
Yeah, if it's not on Sports Reference, it's not real.
All right, Hilton.
Okay.
Why wouldn't he do a cooler like touchdown dance than the stupid TY thing?
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time he scored a touchdown? Like 2017.
He just got the Swolecast bump. He's good to go.
And then we can finish this lineup with Alvin Kamara and the Kansas City Chiefs and leave $800 left over in cash. Seems good.
Yeah.
Leave money on the table to be contrarian in cash. Last week I heard every lineup was duplicated. You need to leave salary on the table in cash.
Dude, there was so much collusion last week. It's like the obvious lineup chat. I've never seen so many new faces invited. It was unbelievable.
All right, we're gonna go Jonnu Smith as tight end.
No, that's not
Yeah.
You already picked
Okwuegbunam.
No, but we got too much salary left over. And
no,
then
we don't. Okwuegbunam. Davis, you cannot steamroll the Titans.
Dave, I'll allow you if you say it's because it's John Boo Smith.
I was going to have Dave try to justify the scariness of it first.
Okay, here's a scary story.
Okay, it's the worst part of the show.
No, imagine. Do you know Jonnu's background?
Dude, I hate the Titans so
I know that. Well, you got to get it with the correlation, but Jonnu missed his senior year of college because his girlfriend dumped a boiling pot of hot water on him. Like, that's a true story.
We brought it full circle with the domestic violence, guys.
Oh no, I was just thinking of like the scary movies. And,
yeah.
Can we bring Najee Davenport back for pooping in the closet?
Oh, what?
That's my favorite one.
This one.
Also, the craziest thing, by the way, about Jonnu Smith is he was just dead ass not good in college.
That's false.
It's
all right. Let's move on to running back. So obviously Kareem Hunt, top play. The free square this week again.
Yeah.
Okay.
He ended up he wasn't free square last week.
Yeah, no one played him last week.
Well, he was played a little bit.
No one played him in cash.
Well, it's because you had all those cheap guys like AJ Dillon and
therefore,
Gio.
if people are not playing you in cash, you can't be a free square.
All right, so let's have a serious talk because on FanDuel, Derrick Henry is the most expensive player. I think you can probably fade him there. I'm just gonna admit at almost 10K, Dave. You can fade him there. But on DK Davis, in your initial lineup that you posted, he was in there.
Uh-oh. You've been destroyed by facts and logic.
The thing about Derrick Henry is that I have been destroyed not by facts and logic, but by the absolute absurdity by which he accumulates these dumbass fantasy points. It's just so brutal to watch, man. And I'm so tired. I'm so tired of it. It's just terrible.
The worst thing that could happen to a Derrick Henry owner is he fumbles and there is a scoop and score.
No, the scoop and score is good for him. The scoop and score you want, bro.
Unless they take him out. But seriously, Davis, Derrick Henry on DraftKings, what's your thoughts on there? Because you had him in the lineup before you even knew that pace was up in this game.
I mean, we have Derrick Henry projected for 22 DraftKings points. That's the second most of any player of the slate. The interesting thing, though, is that as of Wednesday morning when we're doing this, Aaron Jones is not practiced and Joe Mixon is not practiced. We have Jamal Williams at 6,100. We have Giovanni Bernard at 5,800. I would imagine if Jones and Mixon do not play, everyone's just going to play the same lineup from last week at slightly higher prices with Kamara, Jamal Williams, and Giovanni Bernard as their three most rostered running backs.
Jamal for sure.
Gio was better than the results, in my opinion.
You mean the results were better than what he was?
I mean that his peripherals were his peripherals were pretty strong overall. The thing
13. He got 18 touches. I mean, that's obviously
and he ran a bunch of routes. The thing that was tilting is Samaj Pirine was in there for the drive at the end of the second half, and I think got 2 targets on that drive. And then Burrow got every short yardage run, which, I mean, maybe that happens again, but even without touchdown equity, I would still expect Gio to get 13 carries, 5 for 50 as a receiver, and, I don't know, 50% chance at a time. Like, he's just a strong play.
Peter, any other running backs did you like this week?
Well, first of all, what does Myles Gaskin have to do to get some respect on his salary? Seriously, at 5,200, it's absurd. He's a bell cow running back. Like what is the deal with this? I love Gaskin there. And then also, people keep talking about Carlos Hyde. I don't think he's going to play this week. He's dealing with a hamstring injury. We got DJ Dallas at 4,000. DJ Dallas on the 1s and 2s in this game that we love. And he has an all-purpose skill set. He's not just like a thumper. He caught a few balls at the end of the game last week. I mean, he's a sick play.
He caught a cool one. He caught a one-handed, like he bumped it up to himself.
Yeah. Isn't Travis Homer's banged up as well?
Yeah. He's got a knee bruise, but Pete Carroll said that it wasn't an injury, which seems weird to have a knee bruise and not be injured. But another thing, and I saw on The Athletic, some of the beat writers were talking about
I'll have to check out that lead when I get a sec.
So they were talking about how, it is the middle of a global pandemic. You can't bring in you can't bring in Isaiah Crowell or Alfred Morris to take 20% of the snaps and 8 carries this week, because you have to pass 5 consecutive COVID tests before you can sign. So if Hyde misses, if Carson misses, and if Homer is really banged up with his knee thing, which he was losing snaps last week, so I think it's real, we might see DJ Dallas and Nick Bellore as the only active running backs for the Seahawks, which would be, it'd make DJ Dallas like the lockiest lock.
For those that don't know, real quick, Isaiah Crowell, best hype video in the business. Just type in Isaiah Crowell hype video on YouTube and you will not be disappointed.
Tuttle going down nostalgia lane. Let's talk about some rookies facing off against each other. JT versus DeAndre Swift.
Buddy, I want JT to happen so bad, but
a good spot for it.
Mm-hmm.
Good spot.
Peter?
I guess if Gurley can fat his way to 2 touchdowns, Jonathan Taylor can.
That is the thing about Jonathan Taylor is he had the 4 catches week 1 where he was like involved and looked explosive. And
6 catches.
6 catches. Sorry. And now he hasn't been involved in the pass game. I kind of like how things are trending for DeAndre Swift way more than they are for JT. Plus he's $1,300 cheaper on DraftKings. If Jonathan Taylor comes in like under 10%, I think I would definitely have some of him. If he's above that, I don't think I'll have much of him, but I do like DeAndre Swift a lot.
Would you rather have out?
I was just going to say one stat from Gretsch is stealing signals this week is since the bye, the Lions have 18 high value touches there, and he has 13 of them. DeAndre Swift does. So like they're getting him the ball when it's important.
I got knows how to do a score. All right, let's go to wide receiver. You've got Tyler. Is he a lock at this week, Davis?
Terrible stuff.
What?
No, I mean I'm playing Metcalf over Lockett this week.
You got to get unstuck after last week.
It's okay. I need to hear Davis though. Here is because this could trigger him. Was DK Metcalf's poor performance last week due to a tough cornerback matchup?
I mean, it's just like very hard to say. Maybe, so I think that the biggest thing with wide receiver cornerback matchups is regardless of what, us dorks sitting at home on our laptops think, Pete Carroll sure as shit thinks that Patrick Peterson is good. Yeah.
You're just going to avoid him.
Yeah. So I think that as far as you can think about wide receiver cornerback matchups, just think about how a coach might think of it, because not only did DK Metcalf have a bad game, but like he had a clearly bad game from like how the Seahawks planned on using him. They were giving David Moore targets. They were using Freddie Swain as the jet motion guy, and they were throwing the Lockett at like every level. So my guess is probably that the Seahawks purposely just tried to get Lockett. Like they just were like Metcalf. When we see teams do this against the 49ers too with Sherman, where they're like, number one wide receiver, you go get isolated against Sherman and we'll throw to everybody else. So that's kind of my guess retroactively.
Can we take, just since we do like to talk about the grown ass men on here, can we just talk about that chase down tackle? I think that's the sickest thing I've seen all year in the NFL. I watched that on loop like 35 times.
What about Chenault throwing the defender to the ground last week? That was pretty great too.
That was good. I know it's just hard to get excited about Chenault when they're not giving him more touches. But
what about AJ Brown taking it to the house?
That was
as
nice.
Well.
AJ Brown is a gam.
I mean, imagine having AJ Brown and DK Metcalf on the same team.
Make it stop.
No, I'm saying like DK Metcalf. Ole Miss. You fish.
and Dawson Knox too, by the way.
Dawson Knox was actually the one who attracted all the attention and opened it up for DK and AJ Brown over there.
Yeah, he was the guy, not Evan Ingram, but Dawson Knox. All right.
I saw some Patriots fans tilting because AJ Brown put a video out on social today. I actually didn't watch it, but he mentioned something about the Patriots. And apparently he grew up as a Patriots fan. And so the Patriots fans are like, we had a decision between AJ Brown and N'Keal Harry. If we took N'Keal Harry, this dude's a Patriots fan. So nice to know New England taking a big fat L there.
Tough old scenes.
Tough scenes. All right. It feels like wide receiver is different on the sites like on FanDuel. You've got Ayuk under 6K. He's almost the same price as on DraftKings. So I feel like on FanDuel, he is a great play, but not so much on DraftKings. Who are some DraftKings guys that you like specifically, Davis?
Well, I mean, I do think that Denzel Mims is super strong at 3,200, and I think that he is a cash viable play. Really actually wouldn't surprise me to see him end up being in the obvious lineup this week, kind of depending on how injuries and everything breaks. I think T. Higgins is just straight up underpriced. We want to talk about. I think he was at practice day. I can go look at that in a second. But T. Higgins is a grown ass man. He looks way better than I thought. I did not think he was going to be very solid. Obviously, Ayuk, and Keenan Allen. I mean, what is this? I don't even like. I was going
to ask about Keenan Allen because he has a resurgence kind of.
I don't even like. Well, he's finally got a good quarterback. He's been playing his whole career with the guy who throws the football like he was trying to do a shot put. Now he's got a good quarterback.
Tuttle, the Packers game with Devontae Adams and Adam Thielen. Thoughts on ownership of those guys?
Ownership wise, I don't know. I mean, Thielen's pretty high priced, and you got to remember when he did his damage against Green Bay back in week 1. It was all late. It was garbage time. People will play him. People will stack that game, but I don't think he's going to be crazy high owned. Again, I think he's a little bit too expensive for what he is. Adams, I don't know if he can get too expensive. I mean, he saw it like a 47% target share last week, but the thing is, it's going to be, what do you have him projected at, Davis? Davante Adams target share.
I have Davante Adams projected for, I believe, a 31% target share. I can check real quick.
Which is obscene. I mean, he's going to be locked into 30 to 40% target share the rest of the season, which is
wow. And actually with scaling, I have him even a little bit lower, so I need to go fix that right now. But yeah, 31% I think is the right number.
Yeah, and it's a good matchup for him. He'll grab ownership though for sure. He'll be heavily owned.
I actually wonder if maybe it's kind of one of those things where you think that when you're looking at the slate and you're like, he just went absolutely nuclear. But I wonder if just the fact that he is so expensive and people always want to play Kamara, people always want to play Henry. I wonder if in like single entry and stuff, he ends up being more like 20% than like, or 18% as opposed to like 30%, which, obviously would make him even stronger.
All right. Our goal is to get to 100 likes. We got 78 right now. Can we get to 100 before Peter has to exit the show? And speaking of Peter,
now
I have 14 minutes.
Oh, okay, yeah, you got 14 minutes. So AJ Green, 13 targets last week, 11 targets the week before. He's 4,500. They're probably going to be playing from behind against a terrible Titans defense.
He's the most inefficient wide receiver in the NFL, and it's not close. He's like 40 points below his expected fantasy points. It's like unbelievable how bad he's been.
So he's due, basically. That's what you're saying.
I can't do it. I get it. I think he's going to catch some ownership this week just because he's down in that price range. People like that game.
Well, also the game stacks. He's kind of an obvious choice.
Yeah, this is I'm not on it. I think both Keenan and Kenny Golladay are underpriced still. And I'm not even a huge Keenan guy, but man, the way Corain had a thing about it, about how they're using the deep threats, like Guyton and Mike Williams are just clearing everything out, and Keenan is just feasting underneath. And I believe Hunter Henry's a little banged up right now too.
And Hunter Henry is bad. He's just
not good.
He's just so not good.
Hey,
and every week, Hunter Henry is the first guy that people put in their cash game lineups at tight end.
Quick question. Ignoring opportunity cost, because we don't really know it at this point in the game. Straight up, who would you guys play? Davante Adams or Alvin Kamara?
Wow. Kamara.
See, I think that's the initial thought is like you lock in Kamara, but thinking about it, I think I would take Adams over Kamara straight up.
Kamara probably gets the same amount of targets as Davante Adams, and then also gets like 12 rushes.
Well, I would actually, wouldn't you say, to Tuttle's point, that Adams might even have more touchdown equity than Kamara?
Yeah. Latavius is a thing, man.
Yeah.
Latavius, Taysom, whoever else that they have around the goal line. Yeah. All right.
Can I throw out a couple gross names too at wide receiver? I mean, people were mentioning Kendrick Bourne earlier. He's 3,500. With no Debo in this game, he could be interesting if we see a ton of points. And then a really gross one. I feel like this one might even, I don't want to steal Tuttle's terrible take thunder. Marcus Johnson is 3,000. His routes and snaps have been going up every single week. Like if you're looking for a pump play, I kind of don't mind it.
Did you say
he's the one guy who can run deep there? Because Pascal and Hilton are so slow and so immobile that they can't run deep.
All right. So on the wide receiver front, you've got to pick between some of these guys. Like, let's just go with Davante Adams is on the top tier, but in this 7K to mid 6K range, you got Tyreek Hill. Like, we haven't even talked really about Chiefs receivers against this Jets defense.
No one wants to play him because they just think it's going to be a repeat of last week where they don't do anything.
Well, didn't they get 2 defensive scores right in a row?
I don't need to rehash it anymore.
Okay.
I'm good on that.
That's the worst thing that could happen to you if you roster.
I wanted to see, I was looking at this, the spread 19.5 is bigger than the Jets implied team total. I was curious how many times that has happened. That seems like an absurd happening.
And this is why I do think that DeMarcus could be in play, just because he's 3.1 and there's going to be
What about scrimmage yard leader McCole Hardman?
He's pricey, man.
Leverage though, Pete. If Blender
Odell
taught me anything.
Stop. No Odell, obviously, for the rest of the season on the Browns. Any implication there with wide receivers, Davis?
Yeah, I mean, people are setting themselves up to Lucy in football with Rashard Higgins for the 6th straight year. By the way, seriously, Google it. How long has Rashard Higgins been in the NFL? This is his 5th season, dude. It's unbelievable with this guy. He's not very good. He's had a million opportunities. I think that Donovan Peoples-Jones I think Donovan Peoples-Jones has a very real chance of outproducing him the rest of the season.
All right. Let's build a FanDuel lineup before Pete has to get out of here. So FanDuel.com, Listener League. Again,
on FanDuel,
the best league that's out there. And this is not even a bit. This is legit. You've got rake free, 10% to first, 2x, top 20% paid. Like this is you're not going to find another tournament like this.
What's the link for it?
FanDuel.com/Swolecast. So, same theme, but play it however you want. And Peter, you start.
Myles Gaskin.
Okay.
Miles Jack-o'-lantern. I mean,
Gaskin.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
He's like a gas can.
Are we trying to make it silly again?
No, just legit. Scary. Davis?
Just legit scary.
I will go Marquise Brown. I think he is a very good play on FanDuel.
That's yeah.
I think this is the first game. I'm hoping that finally we have to see the Ravens try. Like either they're not blowing someone out or they're getting blown out, as was in the Chiefs game.
We just talked about Ayuk, and he's the same price, and you've got Landry.
Yes, leverage, David.
All right, okay,
leverage.
All right, I got you. I just think you're playing the wrong Brown. All right, Tuttle.
Not sure, but there might be a full moon knee out on Halloween.
No, this is the worst.
He was the only one I could think of something scary for.
All right, he did get a
Allen Robinson concussion protocol.
Yeah, and Mooney did get all of the love in the fourth quarter when they were needing to play from behind. He's
going to be on the buy low model.
Yeah, he's about to say he got tons of air yards.
Dude, that double move he did was pretty sick. He looks
should
good.
Which one? The one where he should have had a touchdown? He had 2 double moves, and one he should have had a long touchdown, and Foles just missed him, which it's what you're getting with Foles. But
Foles miss a throw? Never. No, I don't believe it.
Okay, it's my turn, so I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go with. I can't do it. I was gonna go with Lamar Jackson. I just can't do it.
Why not?
Why not? We got Brown.
I think we're putting Lamar in the lineup. Yeah, it doesn't have to be David's pick, but I mean, you gotta. If you're playing Marquise Brown, you gotta stack him.
Yeah, dude, grow up.
If Marquise Brown hits his 5th percentile outcome, Lamar's gonna go nuts.
Facts.
All right.
Big facts.
Then if we're doing that, we've got to play a Pittsburgh receiver. Juju is 6,500.
Yeah, we're not playing him though.
Let's get some Claypool in here.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's Claypool week, man.
All the sick donkeys are off him now.
Yep.
That's why it's Claypool week.
Why is it Claypool week? He's not in.
His role hasn't changed. He just didn't have his. This is you play these guys at low ownership.
Well, his role has changed in the fact that
Kitchen only listened to the first chapter of Blender's book. He hasn't had time. He's been swamped.
Deontay took over as the wide receiver too, and like Claypool's not on. He didn't have all the snaps.
Kitchen, dude, it was literally one game, bro.
The targets weren't there, but he was on the field plenty. He was a normal. He was a starting receiver.
I do agree that, I mean, we're not going to see Juju, Claypool, and Deontay Johnson all go off in the same game, but this offense can definitely
against the Ravens
too. But I don't care about that. I think we're going to see a lot of points.
Defenses don't matter.
I love Claypool for this lineup.
I actually like it.
All right. Well, it is scary.
We have lots of money left too.
Oh, good. If we have lots of money left, I'm going to do the scariest thing you could do and play Derrick Henry at 9,500. People will not play him because of the price tag.
I thought Kitchen was universally fading Henry on FanDuel this week. That's what I heard earlier.
Nope. Until
I heard Kitchen said that Henry wasn't even a good play this week.
Until you played Claypool.
Chase Claypool is just the Derrick Henry of wide receivers. He's useless unless he scores 2 touchdowns.
We can afford Mark Andrews in this lineup, right?
Yeah.
Let's double stack it.
You just love to see all of this.
This is a good cash lineup, really. I mean,
yeah, I think I might just play this in cash.
Yeah, you guys, this is the worst. All right, so if you got like a
Taylor,
play in cash.
Tell me no.
I can't say no to you, Tuttle.
Thank you.
Did you say Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah.
If you played Jonathan Taylor. You said Chiefs D. I thought you said Jets D. All right, paying $5,000 for a defense
in this economy
is scary. So yeah,
lock it in.
I'm gonna put this in, and if it does anything, I will be shocked. This is gonna come in last. It's like $699 or $700 out of $700.
With that attitude, it is.
All right. Tight ends. Davis.
Albert Akui-Boonham.
Oh my God.
I just am being serious that he is a good min play this week. Like I really like him. I also presuming that Tyler Higbee does not play with this hand injury, which seems 50-50 at this point. Really weird that Higbee got in a limited practice on Saturday, but then didn't play on Monday, which leads me to believe that maybe they're just being conservative because he has a broken hand. It's probably hard to play tight end with a broken hand. Everett to me is just a smash if Higbee does not play. And Trey Burton too.
I like some Everett, Waller, Kittle, Kelsey, Hawkinson, Andrews is back. Like it feels like a better tight end week than in the past. But on DraftKings, Tuttle, who you playing at tight end?
I think you are probably paying up at the position. If not, if you're looking for somebody cheap, Trey Burton, Colts play again. We saw him have a nice role before their bye week. He's only 3,500. I think he's the guy I would prefer. I think people would play Harrison Bryant over him. Obviously had the 2 touchdown week. Fine play, but I think I prefer at this point Trey Burton over him if I'm saving.
Oh, Harrison Bryant is going to be bigly popular.
Mm-hmm. Well, just for people that need savings. It's really going to come out for as far as who are the cheap plays coming with the injury news on Friday afternoon. But I like having a little bit of consistency from the tight end position. Peter, your thoughts?
Yeah, I know Davis likes Alberto, Akui-Boonham. I like Noah Fant. He had 7 targets last week coming back off the injury, and that was a gross game. The outdoor.
He's not healthy, I thought, though.
He rolled up on his ankle again in that game.
Oh, I did miss that in my grinding. So keep tabs on that. But one thing, JJ had a chart this morning about where teams are allocating their targets, and the Broncos are throwing to the tight end. I think it was like top 3 in the league with how they allocate their targets. So one of Davis or I will probably be right on Noah Fant or Alberto.
Well, I think that Fant is the number 1 target in Denver, but I dead ass think that Alberto is number 3.
If Allen Robinson misses, this might be also a Jimmy Graham week. It's disgusting as it is to say that, but you're talking about a guy who grinded the fourth quarter 3 for 3 on the Monday night game.
Yeah.
Whenever Allen Robinson went out, all they went to was Mooney and Jimmy Graham, and that's probably what they'll be doing against the Saints as well.
I think I'm getting baited by Jeff Jones, but I will fall for it. Tuttle pointed to me. He says, "Yo, Pete, can I see that phone again, playa? I'm looking to buy it. I don't know what kind it is. It is the LG Wing. I hope you are a plant that works for LG. Mission accomplished. The LG Wing. Get yourself one of these."
Peter, final thoughts, and then we'll let you go.
My final thoughts are: don't overthink it this week.
Yeah.
Jam in some 49ers and Seahawks. What?
That's your final thought. Is don't overthink it.
Just don't overthink it. Just have fun out there, guys.
There you go. Davis, final thought.
I think that we get a Henry Ruggs monster explosion game, and Henry Ruggs and Justin Jefferson both scored 25 or more DraftKings points this week.
All right, Tuttle.
I mean, honestly, the Ruggs take was going to be my take, so I'll go with the Jonathan Taylor finally has a 2-touchdown, 100-yard rushing game.
Ooh, and you got the Mooney take too. I think that might be an
that was more of just for the pun, but
rookie running back coming off the bye week narrative too, pretty strong.
Yep.
I'll say that generally it's the ugly weeks that you like. This is ugly, and it turns out to be your best week. So this is going to be a good week for the Swolecast. Just appreciate everyone for tuning in. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I think we set a record for most viewers on a show. So if that was you, thank you. Thank you to millionaire winner Ricky D for the swag, and also the guy that does our graphics, Alex. He lost his dad last weekend to cancer, and I just want to tell him that we love him, and he's a big part of the show. So shout out to you, Alex, when you're watching this. Hope it makes you feel good watching these donkeys do what we do. And we'll see you guys next week. We'll see you next week for the Week 9 Swolecast here on RotoGrinders.com.